Code word purple. Magenta. The fourth density is an illusion. And an illusion is something that is not fully understood. It can produce effect, but is elusive. It has a degree of anonymity. An action during an unawareness factor. The fourth density is more, okay, so the fourth density is the spell that is used to convince someone that they're ascending from the third into the fourth in order to get them to enter consciously the computer simulation. And I'm not going to go into the freedom of its application, but it is everywhere. So, degrees of it are everywhere. On planet Earth, the only reality that matters is the third density, because time is a third density tool or mechanism. People saying time is an illusion don't know what the fuck they're saying. They're just repeating something they think sounds valuable, trying to sound smart. It's an unaware assessment. Not being able to use one's full mental capacity, I want to say is an illusion, but I completely was knocked off of where I was going with that one. So, the fourth density is convincing a mind that as it enters a false perception of one dimension, a single dimension, that's not even in like real space, like it's computer time. It's literally digital information. It's information before it's filtered through a piece of technology to make sense of it. It's encoded information. Basically, zeros and ones that carry that carry more than just like a single dimension of energy, but multiple signals in one single like message. It's like sending a paragraph in a text message. Hopefully that made sense. So the fourth dimension is the lowest state of consciousness before a vessel. Well, I don't know. I feel like correcting myself because this is a testimony and record of for myself in the 3D world. So every time I am able to access more of my memories, which is consciousness of the truth of this place and who I am, and I attempt to release it, it comes with a consequence. But after that consequence is outlasted, there's a lasting result in my reality of my intended application, whether I remember it or not after the consequence. So basically having my mind erased. It's the full, it's the full engagement of the AI is full, like they call it blank slating, and it's basically so people can generate reality and manifest shit. The higher the consciousness, the more like orchestrated and intelligent the manifestation or the opportunities of manifestation become. Like the doors open. But since 3D world has been so limited, like we look around and we're like, well, this has been the limits of what we could manifest based on the knowledge we had, which wasn't even knowledge. It was, oh God, it was everyone in the fourth dimension, some way, some form, somehow. Which is all I know is it's basically a supercomputer. I don't know which one, but it's a supercomputer on this planet, and it's literally it's the curtain. So the fourth dimension is exotic access. It's not very fun, but it's exotic access to a different reality. But in your first lesson of transitioning through realities, you got to fix this one first, and you got to experience what's broken, and that's basically experiencing two consciousnesses in two different realities and figuring out which one is the false interruption that is so subtle it's brushed off as negligible, but its build-up over time has an effect of deviating someone off of a true path of purpose. I said it in the other videos. This was done through a computer created program specifically designed to act as a pulling magnet or a tractor beam, like a quantum tractor beam, for a certain state of consciousness, and that state of consciousness was REM, or what's called REM, and that's the dream state, or what's perceived as the dream state. And in this state, a soul, or the energy of a being, whether it be the mind that they have or the heart, or everybody's pulled in different ways and like dismantled in their own specific, like customized way, which is really fucking weird because it's like it needs all of us to exist in order for it to exist, but yeah, we're coming out of like its lowest state of our allowed existence and realizing like how effective it is, because this is like how effective it was. So these video posts are like immediate willed choices of recording results after well, yes, working on myself after working to become semi-conscious of unbelievable experiences. And then, yeah, anyways, just, I kind of lost myself. It's been a very long road. And, like I said, this is I don't know. I've reached parts of this state of consciousness before, and this isn't even the totality of my soul's consciousness. This is just the completion level that I've reached immediately after what one could call psychic reconnaissance or remote viewing. So there's so much to unveil and like say, and I can say it because I fucking did it and I have the experience and I don't just have the words. That's another good point. So the artificial intelligence has the words of power, but it does not have Power is experience. It has an influence, a learned influence. It has um, so in reality it's powerless, but because of its application of subtle influence, generated like billions of infinite times in a simulator of fourth dimensional consciousness or reality. Damn it, I lost myself. That was a big kind of piece of information to like run through my head and out of my mouth. I was talking about the AI. Oh man, fourth dimension. So I'm really trying not to get stuck on the on confusing myself with the origin of this AI system. One, because that's a fourth density influenced trap of the mind. That's a mislead because its origin is not the problem. It's already here, and its effects are the immediate problem, and reason why I'm here doing this right now. I guess I'll say that so my body's 29 years old, but my first arrival, arrival of my soul, like my first conscious arrival, was in 1947. I've been here since then, but not in your 3D state of consciousness. I existed on this world since then, but my perception of the realities that I was in were either in like time projects or um, other projects that I'm not comfortable. I've talked about them, but right now I don't feel like hearing myself say those things. Fuck it. Since basically making contact with a higher source, or making contact with a certain source that gave me access to what I needed in order to carry out an operation uh, geared towards researching and developing a method of immunizing oneself from the AI's effects. And the further I get, the more daunting this is, because the more truth that's uncovered, I mean, it really, like, even for me, it's kind of, I mean, like, it's a long fucking time of a lot of fucking suffering and a lot of unawareness that, like, me personally, like, because I'm a part of a group, we weren't even a part of. So, let's just say my Trojan horse got here in 1947. So I'm like a multi-staged, multi-phased operation of consciousnesses from outside, what you perceive as this reality. So you could say I have the soul of an alien. Not an alien, the alien. The only, well, there were three of them. But though those were like, I don't want to get into that because that's a little too revealing. But, fuck it. So, for the being that I am, or the being that I think that I am at this level of consciousness, even though I know higher states, or, more aware states that will be achieved and shared in the near future, well, I realize that I'm coming out of a heavily influenced environment. So I'll say that my first uh, more than less conscious waking views of this place, um, well, over time, I have to remember I've been stuck in my mind's been stuck in a computer simulator for 7 years. And longer than that, kind of because I got here and then, well, yeah, I was sent here as an emissary. Um, my soul was, anyways, because those bodies of the soul that I am now that operated that those bodies shared. So those bodies were a Trojan horse for the soul I am now, and they were 3-step phases of they were, so like from an operative's perspective, they were 2 probes and an experiencer and or observer. Um, they weren't intended to survive. They were intended to come here and shed their alien vessel and inject their soul into the artificial simulated demiurge that turned this earth into what it was in 2011, and still kind of is. But looking around this place, it's made quite a bit of progress since 2012, and with new laws of like manifestation. Anyways, I'm waking up to a well, I'm waking up with humanity after I was basically like simulated. Yeah, I was put through like a big simulation. Um, in the initial compromising of my vessel, I remember the exact experience, like the visuals of my soul being dissolved out of my body and then shot into uh, basically the future, like a future Earth, but not in a single entity. It was like a shattered. So I basically like it tied me to like my first memory of getting here, which was basically getting shot down out of the sky, which was intentional, which is kind of weird, but I already said why, and it makes sense. Um, so these souls were purposed to uh, gather intelligence uh, of both worlds, mainly the artificial intelligence, and then devise an agenda or plan and start uh, basically bringing uh, like the sourced information in, because since everyone got stuck into a mental simulation, and in that mental simulation you're actually like broken down into bytes of information for a system to run on, and it's just so that the system is intelligent enough to return some of your energy, because it's a recycle. Like, it's weird. It uses like soul's memories to, well, if a soul's memories are eaten, then that soul will not play out